Noah came into the world as the 13th son of the royal family, making him one of the 13 imperial princes fathered by the ruler. Opening his eyes, he sees a gentle woman gazing down at him, leaving him to wonder if she is his actual mother or merely a caretaker. Before he can deduce the truth, an elderly, bearded man, who happens to be both his father and the sovereign, leans in close to scrutinize him thoroughly. The king notes that the newborn resembles his mother, though she bashfully demurs, insisting that his eyes and brow line are identical to his majesty's. Noah notices a status screen floating before him, though its details remain a complete mystery for now. Out of nowhere, a high-ranking court mage approaches, cradling the infant carefully before declaring to the monarch that Noah possesses a rare affinity for water magic. The king erupts into cheerful laughter, promising that once the boy matures, he will inherit the southern domains where the water clans reside, allowing him to govern them righteously. Following this, the ruler orders the mage to display Noah's numerical attributes, but as soon as the screen manifests, a heavy silence grips the entire throne room, leaving even the king utterly dumbfounded. A courtier suddenly shouts that a miracle has occurred, prompting the rest of the assembly to echo the sentiment, which leaves the confused infant scanning his own screen only to discover he possesses the status of an SS-rank water mage, an impossible feat for a newborn. 6 years fly by, and Noah develops into a robust and clever young boy. Over time, he familiarizes himself with the kingdom of Meeres, a realm his father has kept peaceful and conflict-free for several prosperous decades. The populace deeply respects the monarch, and the citizens and nobility alike shower affection upon the young princes. However, Noah remains largely detached from the kingdom's political maneuvering because of a unique discovery he made during his childhood. As it happens, he holds a hidden cheat ability that nobody else suspects. He can siphon experience points from his own servants, meaning his personal power scales up with the size of his staff. Consequently, while ordinary people face strict level limits, Noah enjoys limitless growth potential, setting him on a path to become the world's ultimate sorcerer. His personal attendants are bound to him by absolute devotion, often whispering about how, despite being only 6, Noah carries himself with the maturity of a grown man. Making his way to the dining hall for an early meal, he reflects on how his current skill set is restricted by his juvenile physique. Yet, he knows that consistent practice will ensure exponential growth, eventually allowing him to surpass his older siblings. His internal monologue is interrupted by Evelyn, a striking maid, who informs him that the kingdom's heir apparent alongside the 4th prince have arrived for an unexpected visit. Noah chooses to finish his meal immediately, knowing that despite their familial ties, keeping the future ruler waiting would be a severe lapse in etiquette. Stepping into the parlor, he drops to one knee to show proper respect to his elder siblings, Crown Prince Albert and the 4th Prince Henry. Albert fixes Noah with a chilling glare, demanding to know his whereabouts, whereas Henry offers a much gentler reception, nodding that Noah is shaping up to be quite a well-mannered young noble. Albert remarks that Noah could make an excellent state chancellor in the future before announcing he brought a gift for him. With a sharp clap of his hands, a visibly shaken attendant steps forward, carrying a miniature casket that radiates an intensely ominous vibe. Noah is understandably bewildered by such a morbid token, but Albert commands the trembling servant to unseal the container, leaving the man no choice but to comply. The second the lid swings open, a suffocating wave of malice and mortality floods the chamber, sending chills down Noah's spine as he locks eyes with the weapon inside, utterly baffled by the horrific energy it emits. Before he can even process the sensation, Albert prods him to lift the weapon and experience its weight. Though Noah is deeply reluctant to touch the ominous blade, he recognizes that declining a gesture from the crown prince is out of the question, leaving him cornered into taking it. He wraps his small hands around the hilt and hoists it up, despite its massive size compared to his tiny frame. Albert smiles tightly, claiming he never doubted him, before explaining that this specific armament, dubbed the Leviathan, was forged exclusively for elite watercasters. He casually adds that over 120 individuals attempted to wield it before him, and every single one perished in the attempt. This terrifying revelation nearly makes him fumble the gleaming weapon, but Henry quickly reassures him, pointing out that if the blade's lethal hex had rejected him, he would have dropped dead the instant he made contact. Soon after, Albert and Henry take their leave, while a bowing Noah fumes internally over how his malicious eldest brother just risked his life with a deadly test for no justifiable reason. Still, he keeps his mouth shut, well aware that voicing his frustration would result in swift execution. As night falls and Noah prepares for sleep, he senses an unusual amount of anxiety from one of his attendants and inquires about her well-being. The maid, Zoe, initially wavers, but under Noah's firm questioning, she drops to her knees to confess that a catastrophic deluge has completely devastated her hometown, leaving everything washed away. With her relatives facing starvation, she was planning to enter the sex trade within the red light district just to secure enough funds for their survival. Noah cuts her off immediately, reminding her that as his dedicated personal servant, he cannot permit her to disappear for an extended period. Instead, he instructs her to relocate her mother to his estate, promising her a newly manufactured role as a rear gatekeeper with an astronomical salary of $5,000 a month. A bewildered Zoe notes that such a job title is entirely unheard of, and the compensation is absurdly generous. Noah tells her not to overthink the details, adding that he owns a vacant property on the capital's western edge where she and her mother can reside comfortably. As a weeping Zoe struggles to process this kindness, the chief butler, Dylan, steps forward to ask if the prince requires his assistance. Noah questions him regarding the environmental disaster in Zoe's region and commands him to purchase every available plot of land in that devastated zone. Dylan is taken aback, pointing out that acquiring ruined property is financially foolish, but Noah counters that they must safeguard the vulnerable citizens, arguing that left unchecked, opportunistic criminals will seize the territory and exploit the locals. Dylan stands astonished by this decree, and when Noah asks for the reason behind his silence, the butler admits he is simply marveled by the boy's incredible strategic vision, which mirrors that of a seasoned statesman despite his tender age. Privately, Noah reflects on the immense devastation he witnessed during his previous incarnation, though he keeps that secret strictly to himself. Dylan calculates that acquiring the entire region will demand roughly $70 million, a figure that leaves Zoe completely stunned. Even Noah recognizes the sheer magnitude of the cost, considering his entire staff operates on an annual budget of only $80,000. He possesses $50 million in personal savings from tax revenue and sibling gifts, which still leaves a $20 million deficit. He directs Dylan to liquidate their real estate holdings in the southern sector of the capital to cover the difference. A horrified Dylan begs him to reconsider, emphasizing that the territory was a direct gift from his father, the king, and offloading it could be perceived as an insult to the royal line. Noah brushes the concern aside, stating he will handle the king personally, and asserts that the aristocracy must willingly make sacrifices to ensure the welfare of the common folk. Beyond his altruism, he recognizes that playing the benevolent protector secures immense public adoration, a strategic asset that will inevitably pay dividends in the future. Dylan bows deeply in admiration, promising to handle the transactions immediately before departing to execute the plan. When dawn breaks, Noah gathers his extensive retinue of maids to coordinate a survey of the disaster zone, only to be intercepted by Prince Henry. He rushes over with a polite greeting, expressing regret for his lack of availability, but Henry dismisses the apology and inquires about Noah's intended destination. Noah explains that the Dasa district has been utterly submerged, and he plans to acquire the property after a hands-on assessment of the structural devastation. Henry spots the blade gifted by Albert and asks if Noah intends to wield it during this excursion. Noah notes that he is keeping it close merely as a precaution, though his dynamic with the weapon hasn't changed since their initial meeting. Steering Noah away from eavesdroppers, Henry admits he grew suspicious of Albert's sudden philanthropy, prompting an investigation that revealed the weapon possesses a conscious will, yielding only to a wielder it deems a genuine master. Recalling his glimpse into the fates of past owners, Noah recognizes the weapon behaves like a feral beast that must be forcefully subdued before it can be effectively controlled. Henry urges caution, warning him against drawing it unless it's a matter of life or death, fearing the curse will claim Noah just as it did hundreds of others. Armed with this caveat, Noah travels to Dasa, shocked by the profound devastation left in the water's wake. He directs Dylan to locate the regional records office to secure the property titles, while he and Zoe tour the settlement to gauge the ongoing crisis. He witnesses displaced citizens huddling in makeshift tents to receive state rations, providing a momentary sense of relief that vanishes the instant he samples the terrible gruel provided to them. Disgusted by the administration's abysmal standards, he prepares to summon the regional administrator when the man himself, Lord Garrel, arrives on the scene. Noah assumes the official will penalize the subpar catering, but instead, the bureaucrat pinches his nose, glances at the sludge, and declares it adequate, delighting the fraudulent staff. The head chef notes that a lavish meal awaits the lord at his estate, and Garrel promptly prepares to depart for the grand banquet. Disgusted by this negligence, Noah steps forward to intercept him, mocking Garrel as a corrupt, incompetent weakling, an insult that shatters the man's fragile pride and prompts him to draw a weapon on the boy. Noah immediately summons Leviathan, anticipating that the blade might try to consume him, and the weapon streaks into his grasp. Instead of yielding smoothly, the sword pushes back violently, scorching his hands with its dark, malicious energy. Refusing to yield, Noah exerts his dominant willpower and successfully tames the legendary weapon once and for all. Defenseless against a master swordsman, Garrel's strike is easily deflected, and Noah declares that exploiting starving citizens during a crisis carries a penalty of immediate execution. With a single precise strike, Noah decapitates the official, leaving the crowd completely paralyzed with fear. The surrounding sentries draw closer to retaliate, but Noah drives the blade deep into the soil, tearing open a massive fissure that terrifies the entire gathering. The commotion draws the attention of Rowan, a newly appointed military commander for the sector, who recognizes Noah and instantly drops to one knee. Stunned by this revelation, the rest of the crowd follows his example, kneeling before the prince while Noah commands Rowan to prioritize upgrading the quality of the relief food. Rowan offers a swift apology for the negligence and immediately addresses the issue. Upon returning home, Noah is abruptly summoned to the capital by the sovereign, bracing himself for a reprimand. But the king unexpectedly commends his swift execution of justice and reviews his status screen once more, noting significant level progression. Expressing his gratitude, the king tells Noah that his leadership will be vital for the future security of the realm. Over the next few days, Noah remains in the metropolis, recognizing it as the economic core of the empire and the most affluent urban center by far, attracting skilled individuals seeking employment from all over. His objective is to recruit an exceptional prodigy to his side, allowing him to boost his attributes and quickly transform into a dominant power. His primary target is a young vocalist rumored to possess remarkable talent, who has generated substantial buzz as a rising star. Tracking down the auditorium where she is scheduled to perform, he secures a seat next to Zoe to evaluate if the girl truly lives up to the hype or not. Moments later, a young lady wearing a top hat named Ali takes the stage and prepares to showcase her talent to the crowd. As she begins her melody, Noah is instantly captivated by the sheer beauty of her tone. While he acknowledges she may not possess flawless technical mastery just yet, her genuine passion for the art form shines through brilliantly. He reasons that with proper coaching and direction, her potential is limitless, making her an ideal candidate for his inner circle. However, before the show can conclude, a group of thugs storm the venue and aggressively command Ali to stop singing. The spectators freeze in terror, questioning the criminal's motives while a frightened Ali watches the men advance toward the platform. A stagehand attempts to block their path, but the heavyset leader effortlessly shoves him aside and climbs onto the stage. He barks at her to settle her financial obligations, arguing that small-time theater gigs won't cover her father's massive liabilities. Trembling, she begs for a reprieve, explaining that she is actively working to accumulate the funds to compensate them. The thug counters that her current method is painfully inefficient, suggesting that if she wants substantial cash quickly, she should look into internet modeling, post suggestive photos online, or sell her own bathwater. She firmly objects, stating she is a respectable woman who would never compromise her dignity for money. Unfazed, the bully threatens to cripple her unless she complies with his demands. Recognizing it is time to act, Noah speaks up, ordering the large man to back away from the singer immediately. The criminal rounds on him, telling the boy to go cry to his mother and run along before he gets physically harmed. Noah remains unfazed, stepping down from his chair and approaching the stage while reminding the thug that forcing children to inherit parental financial liabilities is strictly forbidden by imperial decree. Furthermore, coercing anyone into selling their body for debt resolution is highly illegal. Infuriated, the heavyset man snatches Noah by the collar and hoists him into the air, declaring the boy's life is forfeit. Unfortunately for him, he has no idea what he's up against. With a simple snap of his fingers, Noah unleashes a terrifying violet shockwave that floors all three criminals, followed by Noah drawing his blade and aiming it directly at the leader's throat. Realizing they are completely outclassed, the thugs instantly abandon their bravado and flee the premises in absolute panic. Zoe tends to the wounded stagehand while Noah instructs the man to direct the thugs to his estate should they ever return to cause trouble. Zoe presents him with an official crest card, leaving the worker dumbfounded upon realizing the young boy is actually a royal prince. Ignoring the awe of the crowd, Noah turns to Ali and inquires about her baseline monthly overhead. After factoring in her mother's ongoing medical care, she estimates her costs sit at roughly $600. Noah promises to provide her $2,500 each month so she can focus entirely on refining her musical craft. She stands speechless at this unbelievable generosity, while Noah assures her that her compensation will grow as her abilities progress. Finally, he asks her to finish her performance so he can enjoy the conclusion before heading back to his spot. Later that evening, upon returning to his residence, his household staff greets him, and he spots the afternoon's thugs groveling on the ground, desperately seeking a meeting to voice their apologies. He realizes they have only now discovered his royal status, but he declines to grant them an audience, instructing his staff to dismiss them since a prince's schedule cannot accommodate random encounters. Just then, Prince Henry arrives, validating the decision by noting that interacting with such low-level criminals would only diminish his royal prestige. Noah explains that his dismissal serves a dual purpose, as maintaining an air of severe anger will leave the thugs permanently intimidated, ensuring they leave the singer alone. Henry inquires about the girl's identity and Noah's deep interest in her career. Noah clarifies that she is an exceptionally gifted vocalist who could become a vital cultural asset for the nation given proper development. Henry smiles, marveled that despite his youth, Noah conceptualizes long-term strategies like a seasoned adult. He remarks that Prince Gary is roughly the same age but behaves completely immaturely by comparison. Noah smoothly responds that Gary will undoubtedly grasp these nuances in due time. He is well aware that despite the sibling titles, Henry and Gary are full brothers sharing a mother, whereas he belongs to a separate lineage. Henry shifts the focus back to the legendary blade, admitting he found it hard to believe Noah had genuinely tamed the weapon. He asks where the weapon is stored, wondering how a child can comfortably carry a blade of that scale. Noah demonstrates by using spatial magic to materialize the sword out of thin air right before his brother's eyes. Henry stands completely stunned by this supernatural storage method, humorously wondering if the process is painful. Noah clarifies that it is simple spatial compression, enabling him to minimize the sword's dimensions and conceal it within his sleeve. Dumbfounded, Henry sinks back into his chair, noting that the blade had been locked away as a hazardous, cursed relic for over 2 centuries, with no historical figure ever successfully bending it to their will. Later that night, Noah attends a high society gala, noticing the thugs are still lingering outside. The ringleader loses his temper over being continuously ignored, shouting threats that he can end the prince whenever he pleases. In response, Noah releases a minute pulse of kinetic pressure from his blade, instantly forcing the loudmouth back onto his knees. Boarding his transport, Noah arrives at the venue, where a distinguished host named Ray greets him. The reception hall immediately fills with murmurs as word of the 13th prince's arrival spreads through the crowd. Ray asks about the unique weapon at his side, and Noah reveals it is the legendary, formerly cursed artifact presented to him by the heir apparent, Albert. This revelation deeply intrigues the guests, who whisper about how receiving a personal token from the crown prince indicates immense political favor. However, an insecure nobleman loudly scoffs that the blade must be a cheap imitation, completely unaware that his voice carries across the silent room. A sudden hush falls over the gathering as all eyes turn to Noah, leaving the critic sweating through his clothes out of sheer panic. Without moving a muscle, Noah lets a fraction of the sword's murderous intent seep out, enveloping the room in a suffocating pressure that freezes everyone in place. Noah quickly commands the weapon to stand down, lifting the oppressive weight. Ray expresses his amazement, nodding that every guest briefly felt the cold touch of mortality. Shortly after, Noah takes his place on a localized dais as attendees line up to offer their respects and cultivate his favor. Finding the interactions entirely mundane, his interest is piqued when a blonde aristocrat named Alan approaches alongside his adoptive daughter, Cindy. The young girl seems highly perceptive of Noah's underlying power, though he chooses not to address it openly, instead asking Alan about her adoption story. Alan explains that he originally purchased her from a slave bazaar, but her profound resolve and sharp social intelligence deeply impressed him. Lacking biological heirs, he formally brought her into his household. Noah smiles, expressing his appreciation for such uplifting narratives, and extends an invitation for them to visit his estate. While Alan is thrilled by this exclusive recognition, Noah privately explains to Ray that his interest stems from Cindy's unique sensitivity to his magical signature. He proves this by releasing a microscopic pulse of aura, which Cindy instantly detects, turning around alertly to scan for potential threats. A few days later, while enjoying an afternoon walk, Noah encounters the 8th prince, Oscar, who joins him to explore the local commercial district. While browsing through various curiosities, Noah spots an ancient grimoire that immediately elevates one of his primary attributes to S rank upon contact. Intrigued, He purchases the text, nodding that his sword begins to vibrate in response. Oscar recognizes the artifact as a relic from an ancient sorcerer, but the book suddenly springs open, unleashing a massive phantom entity into the street. Oscar urges Noah to retreat to a secure distance, but Noah draws his weapon and prepares to engage the beast. His initial physical slash fails to pierce the magical entity, prompting him to infuse his next strike with dense elemental energy, directing the trajectory skyward to avoid collateral damage. With a swift arc, the entity dissolves into nothingness, leaving Oscar completely stunned by his younger brother's terrifying combat capability. Witnessing this extraordinary display, a local merchant rushes from his storefront, bowing low to request that the prince inspect a rare artifact in his inventory. Leading the royals inside, he presents an enigmatic magical band, explaining that the artifact has consistently rejected all potential users. Noah slides the ring onto his thumb, immediately triggering a magical cascade that wraps his entire form in exquisite masterwork armor. The merchant is speechless, but a satisfied Noah decides to buy it on the spot, though Oscar insists on covering the cost as a personal gift. Afterward, Noah returns to the theater to catch Ali's latest performance. The moment he steps from his transport, the heavyset thug ambushes him with a blade. Noah casually deploys a kinetic barrier from his new ring to stop the strike, while his driver quickly overpowers and restrains the assailant. Dismissing the distraction, Noah enters the auditorium, only to find Ali dealing with a pair of intoxicated patrons brawling over her. Noah intervenes by casting a spell that vaporizes the disruptive men's garments, forcing them to flee the venue in embarrassment. He then summons the theater director, expressing severe dissatisfaction with the venue's security protocols, and offers to purchase the entire establishment. The owner hesitates, but Zoe smoothly produces a massive stack of currency out of thin air, giving the vendor all the financial incentive required to finalize the deed immediately. Zoe expresses her boundless gratitude to the prince, but he tells her to channel that energy into her music, stating his goal is to have her perform before the monarch. With the matter settled, he takes his seat as Ali delivers a custom ballad dedicated entirely to him. And that brings our recap to a close. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.